Hi, welcome back. It is the Jack Christian podcast, and I am Jack Christian. This is episode 4. Look at me go. Killing it. Anyway, today is, the episode title is Planting Seeds. And I'll go into a bit more what that means, obviously, as the episode goes on. But yeah, so let's start, I guess. So I think it is it's extremely obvious to me, and probably obvious to anyone who's listened to the previous 3 episodes, that I'm not by any stretch of the imagination some successful person. I am very much in the early stages of my career. I reiterate again and again, moving to Australia, I am starting from scratch. Any small progress, quote unquote, that I had back in the UK, I've taken lessons from, but beyond that, it's I am really starting from absolute zero. So there's kind of a balance that I need to strike at the moment about short-term just staying alive, staying fed, and paying rent and shit like that, just having some cash flow. So there's that, but I think if I am to become successful, quote unquote, at some point in the future, then it's really like I have to dedicate a lot of my thinking, a lot of my kind of what's the fucking word? I don't know. I dedicate a lot of time and energy towards kind of playing the long game, long-term thinking, and this is what Planting Seeds is all about. So the way I see the gap between where I am now and where I want to be is really just a gap of skills and time. And I guess if you were to kind of make a formula, I guess skills add time means experience. Skills add time equals experience. Maybe skills. I don't know. It's not really the point. That's just, ignore that. Anyway, so yeah, that's why a lot of what I'm focusing on now is just kind of it's all about education and trying to put some foundations in place that will kind of build on top of each other. And as I use the new skills that I learn, apply them, learn how to use them well in real life, and basically as those skills grow, the gap between where I am now and what I want to become will shrink. So, planting seeds. What does that mean? So a while back, I heard someone say that there are 2 types of people in the world. One type is planting seeds, and they're in a planting season of life, and the rest are in a harvesting season. So when you're in a planting season, that means you're laying down seeds, you're nurturing them, and you're growing them until you're ready to harvest. And then the harvesting season is where you reap the rewards of that work, and you're able to take the results. So right now I am very much in a planting season, and I would like if I was to talk about what that feels like, at least from how I see the world, because as we all just kind of see the world through, we all have our lens, our perspective. It's built around who we are, what we do, everything like that. Anyway, so back in the UK, I was a keen trail runner. So I lived near the Peak District in Sheffield. To anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's just a very hilly, I wouldn't say mountainous, I don't know if there's any mountains in it, but it's hilly anyway, and green region in the middle of the UK, and it's really pretty. If you go to the UK, fucking go there, it's amazing. And I used to love just getting out on the trails and charging up and down hills. So in this analogy, I would say that the planting season that I'm in right now is somewhat like running up a massive hill. And all your energy is it's just a battle. It's you against everything. Like, you're against the slope, you're against gravity. If it's been raining, then your feet are slipping, and running uphill is all you. It's you against everything. And the way to get up hills is you need to have one eye on where you're headed. If there's a path that you're on or a trail, then that's just, you just follow that. And then, so that's maybe like 1% or 5% of your focus, and then the other 95% of your focus is just putting one foot in front of the other along that path. So that's kind of what my life feels like at the moment. Like, every day I wake up and I think of, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a ritual, but it's certainly a repeated thing that happens every morning, where I wake up and I go, I have got so much to do to get to where I want to be. And then I will kind of like roll over and try and bury my head in the pillows for a little bit longer, and then eventually I just get up, write down my to-do list, and then if I tick everything off that day, then I can go to bed knowing that I've moved closer to the goal. When that goal hits, I have no idea. But as long as I'm hitting those daily targets, and I'm moving closer. So yeah, that's my little analogy. Whether it makes sense, I'll leave that up to you. So yeah, and then I guess running downhill, if we're going to go into a harvesting season, I haven't had a harvesting season for a while. I guess my last harvesting season was the back end of summer last year, where I just had I had a few projects all kind of like back to back, and they all involved me applying skills that I'd learned in the previous like 3 months when I'd had no projects. So that's kind of a small planting and a small harvest phase there. And then that harvest phase earned me all the money I needed to move out to Australia and move into that next stage of my life. And that is similar. This running up and down hills thing it's really working as a metaphor now. Is it a metaphor or a simile? Analogy? Fuck it, I don't know. But it's kind of working now, because when you're running downhill, it's in a sense it's easier than running uphill, because you've got gravity on your side. But the trick with running downhill is if you lose control, you're gonna trip and you're gonna tumble down that hill, and you're gonna be bouncing down the hill, almost like a cartoon. So the trick with running downhill, the hard part of that is actually staying in control, especially if you're on treacherous surfaces. So yeah, I guess when you're in a harvesting period, Matthew McConaughey in his book Green Lights, fucking great book. I read it several times. I love that book. Whenever I read it, I always read it in Matthew McConaughey's voice in my head as well, which makes it a wonderful experience. But anyway, I think he has a chapter in it that's called Learning How to Run Downhill. And it is a real skill that you need to be able to do, because it's easy when things are going well to just kind of like lose your focus and just enjoy the good things that are going on, and you take your foot off the gas and your eye off the ball, you lose focus, and then like shit just starts going wrong. Similarly, if you're running down a trail and you put your foot in the wrong place, you break an ankle, or you trip and then you're tumbling down a hill for a little bit. It's pretty treacherous, so you need to keep your eye on the ball. So yeah, like, I mean, I've gone off on a real tangent now. I got so cocky with how well the metaphor was going that I've actually forgotten what I was talking about. I really need to stop rambling so much, but got to fill up the time here. I've got to bore you somehow. So anyway, yeah, when you're in a harvesting season, going back to that, yeah, you've got it. Like, things are going well, but you've got to maintain. You've got to like keep things ticking over. You can't just enjoy your success. You've got to remember that, just like the bad times, where you have to remember that all things pass, in the good times you have to do the same thing. Nothing is forever, and you need to stay constant no matter what's going on around you. You need to stay focused. And anyway, let's move on, shall we? I'm not sure whether I'm probably milking this thing too much, so we'll move on now to talking about the seeds that I'm planting at the moment and what my heading is. What is it that I'm trying to do? I know it seems, I mean, like, the whole podcast is about me starting up as a freelancer in Melbourne, and that is kind of an overarching goal, but what is it that actually goes into that? Let's go a little bit deeper on that and see what I'm planting, what crops I'm growing, and what I'm looking to harvest down the line. So if we start from the very beginning, I'm just going to take a sip of water. Starting from the very beginning in my life, I mean, I grew up surrounded by entrepreneurs and business owners. Like, my dad, both my grandfathers, 3 of my uncles all ran their own businesses, and then several of my parents' fathers and mothers like ran their own business too. Like, growing up, I think there was a lot of that around me, and those are the kind of like first role models that I had, beyond, Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo, because I loved football, but it really, like, in my direct contact, like, adults, they worked for themselves. So from an early age, that admiration for business owners and kind of leaders of change, thought leaders. Not that I don't know if they were called thought leaders back then. I feel like that's quite a new term. But anyway, those kind of people, I had a deep admiration for them from an early age. Even like my favourite TV show when I was a child. I mean, people my age in the UK might remember this. I don't know if many other people know what the fuck I'm talking about, but there was a TV show called Ka-Ching, and so that TV show, the whole story was about a teenager who ran a business. He secretly ran a business that sold like ringtones, because that was really cool back then. And he was trying to earn £1 million to support his widowed mother. So even back then, that was what inspired me. I remember watching that TV show, and I immediately wanted to emulate that. So I went to, does anyone remember Freewebs? It was like this way back like 2003, 2004. But it was kind of like, it was one of the well, at least at the time, it was a website builder, where you could just sign up and create your own website. Like, it was really like, I don't know if it was particularly well made, because I remember I didn't have an email address to sign up for it, but I remember I could just write my name in the input, and that was fine. That classed as an email address, just writing Jack, and then my password was Dumbledore. So I don't know. Maybe you can log into my my Freewebs account now if it's still going. I don't think it is. But yeah, I mean, my website building pedigree goes back that far. So yeah, check me out. Anyway, so now if we kind of jump forward now, and the clients that have had the greatest impact on me while I was freelancing back in the UK, where it was working with people similar to that. It's the small business owners and entrepreneurs and people that want to create a change in their life or in the world, and they take it on themselves to make it happen. Again, working with people like that, it gives me an extra energy, and it inspires me to try and figure out what it is the changes that I want to make in the world. And I think the joy that I get working with people like that, and my ability to, like, through my skills and knowledge around building for the web, to empower people to build their business online and grow and make the change happen for them. That's something that the idea that I could do that for people gives me a lot of energy. And I think as a freelancer, more so than if I were to kind of like run my own agency or studio or anything like that, I think as a freelancer, at the moment anyway, I get to interact with these people and talk to them on a personal level in a way that I can understand them as a person, and I can understand what they are trying to do through their business, whether it be just feed their family, or if they want to actually change the way their industry runs, or they have a new technology that they feel can make an important difference in the world. Whatever it is that they want to do, the fact that I am able to like buy into that and talk to them on a personal level and understand them gives me so much joy and so much energy to do my best work for them. And that's kind of what going back to seed planting now, the seeds that I'm planting now, everything that I'm trying to educate myself on, it's all geared towards being able to do that, to empower people to create the change they want to make. So learning about websites and how to market things through websites, and then learning about marketing and then content creation, storytelling, copywriting, all these skills that I'm trying to learn now, on top of on top of expanding the design and development skills I already have. It's all geared towards this kind of idea that I could empower people to change the world. So that every seed that I'm planting now, I hope is pushing me in that direction. So everything I'm learning, everything I'm experimenting with, I hope will put a brick in a building block in place, take me a step closer to that goal. Every client that I work with, I hope can achieve that goal. Every agency and studio I partner with, I want to choose them because they have a similar goal in empowering their clients to make the change that they want to make. So, as I've said, like, I'm not at success yet. I'm far away from where I want to get to. I am very much laying the foundations and the first seeds in the crop that I'm going to harvest. And it's probably going to take a long time, and I'm definitely playing a long game here. But as long as I keep doing the daily tasks that I need to do, I'm gonna get closer. And the only thing I can do is do the necessary steps every day to take me closer. I don't decide when it happens, but all I decide is when to take the steps. So that's where I'm at the moment. That's my ramble on planting seeds. I hope you've well, I don't know how enjoyable it is, but I mean, if it's somewhat insightful, or at least it's given me a chance to practice my storytelling ability. So there's a seed I'm nurturing. Anyway, I think that's really it for the week. I'll be back next week for episode 5. I don't know what that is yet. I seem to decide on what it's like. My process of like coming up with these episodes is really I just make like a little note sheet on Notion, and then like as I go through the week, I'll maybe like an idea will click in my mind, and I'll just write down a few bullet points on it, and then kind of like the morning or the evening before I record, I go through, I read it, and then I kind of like mishmash things together to try and make a point. Whether that's an efficient strategy, I don't know, but it seems to be working so far. We'll see how it goes in the future. Again, like I'm learning with all of this. Each week is kind of like a new evolution in my process with recording a podcast and telling the story of the week. So we'll see how we do. Anyway, episode 5 next week. I hope that there's people there to listen to it. Until then, have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon.